So I'm on Lake Tahoe today, and I just kayaked over to what's actually the only island on the whole entire lake. And I was actually really surprised to learn that this is the only island on the whole lake because, as I'm sure some of you know, Lake Tahoe is huge. It's absolutely huge. What interested me about coming over to this island today was, if you could see on top of there, there's the remains of an old structure. And that was actually an old tea house. It was built by a very wealthy woman named Laura Knight, and she actually built a mansion all the way on the shore. You can't see it, but I might go check it out later. You can actually park your kayak on the side and hike on up, so that's what I'm gonna go do. So I'll see you up there. And as you can see here, this is absolutely beautiful out here. The landscape is incredible. I actually heard that the island is 150 feet tall, and it's kind of deceiving because it doesn't look that tall from here to me at least, but I guess we'll find out. So the water here is incredibly clear and blue. It's absolutely beautiful, but with clear water usually comes frigid temperatures, and I'm walking through it right now, and it's really cold. I'm gonna keep making my way up here. It's definitely really rocky and pretty treacherous, but people do it all the time. And as you can see, I wasn't the only one who had the idea to come out here today. Almost at the top. We gotta get up here. And there it is. All right, here we are. We made it to the tea house on top of Fannette Island. All right, so we can go in right here. So this was actually built in the 20s. And as you can see, it's very small. It was only meant to be used as a tea house. And it was built by a lady named Laura Knight. And she actually had all this stone hauled here by boat in order to build it. As you can see, there's once a fireplace. There was also once a big oak table right in the center here with 4 big chairs around it. And all this was used for was for her to entertain her guests, to have tea time. That's why it's known as the tea house. As you can see, it's really fallen into disrepair. And it's been really vandalized throughout the years, but the bare structure remains, and you can see what this once was. So the little house here is only 16 by 16. It's only 16 feet wide by 16 feet in length. So I can only imagine how cramped it would have been in here with the large oak table that I read was here, and it had 4 large oak chairs. And what's a shame is that Mrs. Knight didn't even really use this that much from what I read. She only used it a couple times a year for a few years until she may have passed away or something else happened where she just wasn't interested in using it anymore. She didn't have any guests to bring. So what she would do to bring guests here is, from her 38-room mansion over there called Viking Shalom, she would motorboat guests all the way over here, and they would climb up just like we did to come up in here, sit down, and have tea by the fire. So for whatever reason, that didn't happen too often. She only used it a couple times a year for a few years. Maybe guests just didn't want to come anymore, or, you know, she fell into bad health. But yeah, she had all that stone hauled here for almost nothing. And as you could see too, it would have been really beautiful to come here one time. One, there would have been a lot less people, but out of all 4 sides, you have absolutely beautiful views of Lake Tahoe. And it's picturesque mountains and blue water. So this isn't only called the tea house, it's also called the castle on top of Fannette Island too, because the mansion that Mrs. Knight built on shore was inspired by castles she saw in Europe. So the architecture here very much resembles the castle that's over on shore.
Oh my gosh. I thought I was going to fall over. Sit right here.
It's really interesting that this is still here from the 20s. Just goes to show how well built this is. It's It's mostly made out of granite, it looks like. So I'm making my way back down now off the top of the island. You can see the house is right up there. I'm gonna get back in my kayak, see if there's any other cool views I could see. So this is the way back down. It's pretty steep. So geologists think that this is the only island on all of Lake Tahoe because it's mostly made of granite, as you can see all around me. And granite is really resistant to erosion and things like glaciers. And when the glacier receded through here, they think that the rest of the rock surrounding this island was pulled away with it, and the granite that Fannette Island is today remained. And this is why we have the island here today. Pretty cool. All right, well, I just made it to the bottom of Fannette Island again. I'm gonna hop back in my kayak here and head back to land. I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed that little video. Thought that was pretty neat. See you guys in the next one.